What's up, everybody? Today we're going to build this candle holder base and 4 others just like it. Let's do it. The first thing I do is lay my candle holders onto the stock I've selected to make sure we have a good fit. Next, using a router template, I'll trace the basic circle shape for each candle base. From here it's onto the drill press, where I'll use a Forstner bit to chunk out a majority of the stock. I use whatever size bit I have that gets us close to the final shape we want. From here we're back to our router template, where you can see I've added some carpet tape. I'll simply remove the other side of the tape and place the template down on my first piece of stock. Since the size of the template is pretty close to the hole we drilled with the Forstner bit, I'll be very careful to make sure I center the hole underneath my template. Next, it's onto the router, where I've installed a pattern guided flush trim bit. I will follow the template and use it to clean out the sides of the candle holder base. Once routing has been completed, I'll take my protractor, I'll center it in the hole we made by the Forstner bit, and add approximately 1 1/4 inches around the outside of the candle holder base. This will be our final width. This is what our piece looks like, all traced out and ready to head to the bandsaw. At the bandsaw, we'll cut it to rough shape, making sure to stay to the outside of the line that we just drew. The main purpose here is to get it as close as we can to that line without going over before we get to the sander. Here's our group of blanks after the bandsaw. You can see I got pretty close to our lines without going over. Total, I believe I made about 8 of them when I shot this video, as I was getting ready for a craft show. Next, it's on to the oscillating belt sander. Here you'll want to take your time and really make sure you get that blank as round as possible. Don't just trust your eye, make sure you use your hand to kind of feel for any hills and valleys before moving on. The final sanding step gets completed with my random orbital sander. I'll start with 150, then on to 180, and finally finishing with 220. I'll sand the top, the sides, the bottom, and the edges of each blank. I'll be sure to round over the top a little more than I round over the bottom, and that's really just for aesthetics. The final step for these is, of course, the finishing. As I mentioned earlier, I was working on these for a craft show and I had to get them finished fairly quickly, so I grabbed a Rust-Oleum lacquer and sprayed it on. I used 1 coat on the bottom and 3 coats on the top. And you can see the lacquer really pops the grain of this wood. I was really happy with how these turned out. Here are the final pieces with the candles installed. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if so, please tap that like button. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do that as well. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and when you get a minute, please check out my website, kencarano.com. I'll see you guys next time.